recovered and she is back on her feet. I said you guys are gonna probably be seeing a lot more of me, and shout out to everybody who's been checking in and checking in on the kids, on my new baby, checking in on the wife. She's doing very well after the surgery. The baby, Nikki is she runs the house. Yeah, so when I do get some free time, it's because she's allowing it. To be honest with you. But your messages have been very well received. I greatly appreciate it. In all seriousness, my wife appreciates it as well. She actually was kind of surprised at how people were so concerned. She was like, "Really? People actually care about that?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're my wife, and we had a baby." She was like, "Yeah, but there are random people online." I'm like, "Yeah, my audience is dope. My audience is a little bit different than everybody else." I take a lot of pride in that. So. And I was like, yeah, and also they're also used to me being on camera a lot. So they know if I'm not here, it's for a very good reason. And they know how much I love my family. So she was like, oh, well, you can go ahead and go and start doing your show like you used to. I was like, we'll see how that goes. But we're here right now because, yeah, man, Erika Kirk. She's been on a little media tour, hasn't she? She came out of the shadows within the first couple of days. Charlie Kirk passed away. It was weird the way that she handled Charlie Kirk's death in public those first couple of days. I know everybody grieves differently. Everybody premises this statement with everybody grieves differently. I'm aware everybody grieves differently. All of you all know everybody grieves differently. I don't feel like we have to premise every conversation with Erika Kirk with everybody grieves differently. Everybody grieves differently, but I can almost goddamn guarantee nobody grieves in this bizarre way that Erika Kirk has grieved. Like when my grandparents, who I was very, very close with, passed away, I didn't immediately start selling merch. You get what I'm saying? Like if my grandfather was a CEO of a company and he passed away, I'm not assuming. I'm not going to sit down with a meeting and have CEO conversations about how I'm going to take over a company, by the way, in a field that I've never experienced, in a company that I've never worked for, and be like, yeah, I'm a CEO now. And, nor did I start promoting my grandfather's allegedly written book right after he passed away, a book that wasn't mentioned before. This will have to be mentioned right now. And of course, it's already at the top of the New York Times #1 bestseller. Nor am I going to stand over my grandparents' casket. In the middle, I'm talking about an event. This isn't like a funeral. This is an event. It literally like a WWE event. Y'all remember, right? Okay. And I'm going to have a camera right in my face. I'm going to be mic'd up and I'm going to just have it pan in, just... yeah, everybody grieves differently. Don't nobody grieve like that. I don't give a damn what nobody said. I know that I've really talked to myself at times. I'm like, Niko, man, try not to be petty. But in this Erika Kirk situation, one of the things that really bothers me about everything regarding Erika Kirk's situation, and something that actually is something that it's like damn near an affliction. It is a sickness that I have. It is what we would call in Portuguese uma doença. Okay. Whenever someone says one thing and then completely acts the opposite, like they do it over and over and over and over again, even in real life, I don't give a damn if it's my family, my friends, or whatever. Bro, I'm calling you out. And I would probably try to tell you privately. And if you don't get the message privately, the next time you do it publicly, I'm probably going to make a joke about you in public. Like I said, I can't do it. I literally cannot accept, my brain will not accept somebody being like, leave me and my family alone. Can we have this one thing? Can we handle this in private? While you are quite literally doing everything in your power to call attention to yourself, but in a way that is controlled, in a way that you can control the narrative so that you can clearly gain the most money, make the most money that you can possibly make while not actually contributing anything. Like, Erika Kirk hasn't contributed anything. While, by the way, you're simultaneously attacking people, criticizing people, allowing other people to criticize those who are genuinely interested in figuring out exactly what happened to your husband and why he lost his life. Right? Like, you don't care. You say, oh, I'm so, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. But we know right now that there is not enough evidence that suggests that Tyler Robinson is actually the killer. And there is an assumption that has been made, even during this town hall, that Tyler Robinson is the killer, that we should all just accept that again. So I'm not gonna show obviously the whole town hall. I'm gonna, if the parts that I feel like are very, very important, I'm gonna find and pull up. But I'm always like paranoid because for whatever reason, I don't know how other people are doing it, but whenever I try to show something from mainstream media like that, I end up getting like hit with the strike. So I'm gonna try, whenever we get to the parts that I feel like are super important, like y'all should literally look at the look on her face and the questions that are being asked. I'm gonna try to pull those up for you, but I'm gonna give a breakdown of what happened. So anybody wanna discuss why Erika Kirk is hosting a town hall, or why she had a town hall? Like, first of all, can we get into that? Is that like too much to ask? Because, hold on. You're not close enough to me. Yeah, look at my face. You don't even see my damn face. It's the face my daughter does when she's pissed off. She got her mama's face. She got her mama's attitude. She goes like this whenever you do something she don't like, or she judging you, she already start doing this. Why is Erika Kirk holding town halls? And somebody just said it in the chat, Measured Man. Goddamn book tour. A book tour for a book she wrote? No. In fact, I hate to get all ad hominem, but like, to be frank, listening to Erika Kirk interact with individuals, like whether it be like, we know these questions were scripted, and I'm gonna explain how we know. Like, we know these questions were scripted or at least curated during the town hall. We know that's definitely what happens during mainstream media interviews. We already know. And it's like, you're on a media tour for a book you didn't write, and you don't even know how to dodge simple questions. You know what questions you're going to receive because they've basically been the same questions over and over and over again. And her response makes me question her level of intelligence. As a graduate from University of North Carolina, I can tell that she went to Arizona State University. Like, their academic standards aren't really all that high out there. And it's I don't even know if Erika went to all her classes the way that she be talking sometimes. You could tell she's not used to going off a script. You could tell she's not used to giving impromptu interviews extemporaneously. Like, you can tell this is new to her, and yet we're gonna make her the CEO of an organization, a political organization, despite the fact she's never been involved in political organizing. She's never been involved in political media. She comes off as robotic in the town hall in interviews that we saw from her this past weekend, like the one on Fox and Friends. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Because everybody knows every Christian walks into their house on Friday and says, Shabbat shalom. Isn't that how y'all Christian families work? Because that's what Charlie did, apparently. Like, okay. Yeah, I totally believe that. Yeah, Charlie Kirk walked in that damn house every single day and said Shabbat Shalom. Or every Friday, guys, Shabbat Shalom. Because that's a normal practice in Christian homes. So she came off and she was robotic. And she's Barri Weiss, by the way, in case y'all didn't know, is one of the most Zionists out there. She's actually somebody who pretended she didn't know what the Mossad was. She was like, oh, a lot of people accuse me of being a Mossad agent. But what's a Mossad? Okay, so either you're a liar who's pretending like you don't know who Mossad is because you don't want people to catch on to the fact that you are indeed a Mossad asset at the very least. And anybody in media who is a Zionist, if you're in mainstream media and you're a Zionist and you're actively promoting Zionism, then you're a Mossad asset. Like that's, they don't even gotta call you. You already know what the plan is. That's how you got put in the position. You're either that or you're an idiot and you shouldn't be editor-in-chief of anything. Because if you don't know what the Mossad is, if you spent that much long, you worked at the New York Times, but you don't know what the Mossad is, whenever the New York Times was actually doing some legitimate journalism, they broke damn near more stories about the Mossad than damn near anybody else. But you're the editor-in-chief of CBS. But of course, given all of the connection that we've seen with Erika to Israel, with Erika in the Zionist movement, with Erika's family, and the military-industrial complex, specifically regarding Israel, it would only make sense that Barri Weiss sits down with Erika Kirk and conducts a town hall. Somebody who only got her position because of her willingness to push Zionist narratives. And one might argue, especially given everything that we have seen so far from Erika during this media tour, that the only reason Erika has been put in the position that she's been put in, that she's being uplifted to the degree that she's been put in, and specifically to push pro-Israel narratives, is to repaint. Like, it literally, like, bro, y'all know how I feel about Charlie Kirk. I did not like the dude, but we did see the proof that he was he was going to turn on Israel. We've seen it. It's there. I can't deny I can't deny objective facts. Y'all know it's not in my blood. And she comes out and is like, yeah, no, actually, all that proof that you're seeing, all the text messages that have been confirmed by TPUSA, by the way, not just shown to us by Candace, but confirmed by those he was sexting with. Oh, yeah, no, that's not true. He actually was a loyal friend to Israel. That's why Netanyahu came out the moment that he passed away, awkwardly, and said, we had nothing to do with this. So, of course, she would sit down with Barri Weiss, head of this book tour. So to set the stage for you for what kind of town hall this is, right? Just know the name of this book that Charlie Kirk allegedly wrote right before he passed away that he didn't release, which, by the way, we will never know if he wanted to release this book. And the reason why is because the book is called Stop in the Name of God. And basically it's about, and it's why you should be recognizing the Sabbath. That's what the title of the book is. Why you should, I'm gonna tell you the exact name of it, because it's like, bruh, for real. I'm gonna tell you the exact name of the book. Yes. Stop in the Name of God, why honoring the Sabbath will transform your life. What? And I don't know. What's funny about that is maybe there was a portion of the book. I'm not going to read the book. I'm not going to lie to you. But maybe there is a portion of the book that talks about honoring the Sabbath. Okay. But like, maybe he did write the book. Maybe. But I don't know if Charlie ever intended on releasing the book. Given like how it would be received and how it would be interpreted by the majority of the conservative base now that does not trust the Zionist movement, doesn't trust anyone they believe is being controlled by the Zionist media. Measured Man, let's not forget the thousands and thousands of videos he did, never released. I mean, the AI videos they're going to make, they're going to definitely do AI videos. Because I'm sure she probably has total control over his estate now. So they can, and it would be perfectly legal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that book is AI written either. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he did write the book with these intentions of like, and we don't know when he wrote it. So there's that, right? Because it takes people years sometimes to write books. So maybe at a time where he was very loyal to Israel, was trying to kiss Netanyahu's ass, was kissing Israel's ass. Maybe that's when he started writing it. Maybe he finished it and decided, yo, man, I'm not gonna release this. Because the context of it now will be, it's not the same. It won't be received the same. But as many people who have been saying, once again, there's nobody that's profited more, who's gained more since Charlie Kirk's death outside of Candace Owens. No, I would definitely say Erika Kirk and TPUSA have profited more from Charlie Kirk's death, have gained more from Charlie Kirk's death. And even these news organizations to some degree, these mainstream media conservative organizations, like than anybody else. I mean, shit. Candace didn't start selling merch the moment this man died. Right? That was Erika. That was Erika on TPUSA. Well, they've made something to the tune of $140+ million since his death. And people might argue because of his death. And let's remember, he had rejected a lot of funding from Israel. He rejected money. He was trying to figure out where some money was coming from. And then you see an influx, an infusion of money, which is hilarious, by the way, as an ADHD off-topic aside, because Tim Pool's like, the Candace is destroying the #1 conservative political organization in the country. Really? Because that's not what it looked like. It looked like they're making more money than they've ever made before. Unless you're saying the money isn't congruent with the amount of registrations to the group. They're receiving more money than can be justified by the amount of people that are joining. You catch my drift? Like, if you're a growing political organization and you're getting a lot of money because a lot of people are joining, that's a whole different conversation than the new registrations are stagnant, but we're still receiving a lot of money. And you're getting a lot of money from various interested parties because they want you to try and overcome this deficit, this problem, because this organization was meant to serve a purpose. And we know it, outside of all the other nonsense, its purpose at one point was to push Zionism. So that's the stage for the town hall. That's just setting the stage. Okay? She starts talking about the immediate moments after Charlie died, because Barry asked her about it. Oh my God, Barri Weiss she's just as robotic and so fake. I mean, it was very difficult to watch. And Erika responds, she starts talking about the moments right after. And she goes, yeah, I go right in the studio. Bro, first of all, what? Once again, everybody talks about how everybody agrees differently. Bro, if my wife died, y'all wouldn't see me for a minute. Especially if she died in a fashion like that. If I died like that, my wife would disappear. My wife would disappear. Hell, any of my exes would just disappear, basically. I can't even be sick without my wife wanting to disappear and not talk to nobody and just want to be next to me and take care of our kids. But she decided, I'm going to the studio. And they asked her, hey, we can do this pre-recorded, because it would, you might be emotional right now. No, my husband went live all the time, and therefore I'm going live. Well, no, that's not how it works. I'm sure your husband did some pre-recorded interviews. Like what? But it was the weird promotional nature that she responded to the question, talking about the immediate hours of her son, not her son, my apologies, of her husband being assassinated. My husband went live, and therefore I'm going to go live. And so that led to the question, What do you mean when you said that they have no idea what they've just unleashed? Because remember, everybody remembers when Erika Kirk was like, you guys have with killing Charlie, you have no idea what you've just unleashed. Everybody remembers it. So Barri Weiss asked her, what did you mean by that? She goes on this tirade, Erika goes on this tirade about how she was talking about how the Holy Spirit works in mysterious ways, how Jesus works in mysterious ways, how it wasn't really about her when y'all remember how everybody was making it about her, like the conservative movement had been hiding her, and it's releasing Erika Kirk on the left now because Charlie was protecting her and protecting the world because she's more fierce than Charlie is. No, she isn't. No. And she said it as if she was talking about her, but she literally said it's the Holy Spirit that was unleashed. That's what she said during the town hall. She wasn't referring to herself. Measured Man, did you see Wolves in Finance drag pull? He demanded an apology and said he was nice, but he has more he's going to release to the public. No, I did not see that. I will check it out though. If you follow me on Twitter, send me a link. Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate it. M. Rehes. I'm probably butchering that, but thank you very much. Appreciate you. But yeah, no, that's what she literally was like, yeah, no, what I meant was like the Holy Spirit moves and uses us in different ways, and it's the Holy Spirit that was released. Like, we didn't all see. Matter of fact, you know what? We're going to see if we can find a clip of Erika Kirk saying that, because I remember her face. I remember how weird and awkward it was. I'm like, who are you? You have no idea what you've unleashed across country and the entire world. That's what she said. Well, of course, all the conservative news publications are showing up, like not wanting to show the actual clips, which is hilarious. Because if you look at the clip versus just hearing her say it, there we go. Yeah. Now I want y'all to be the judge. Did she mean, was she talking about the Holy Spirit? And by the way, I'm a very spiritual person. But I'm a spiritual person that says that I can't stand when somebody tries to use spirituality as a political weapon. Boy, I cannot stand it. I can never be able to stand it.
The local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically to save Charles's life, and the police who acted bravely to make sure that there were no other victims on that terrible afternoon.
By the way, almost nobody did any of that. In fact, there was a lot of criticism about how the situation with Charlie was handled. Like, the police, security was not on their job. Nobody was, really. The medical response was piss poor. The response from his own friends were piss poor, to be completely honest. But hey, guess we're just gonna say whatever we gotta say. But yeah, I remember. Look at this looks genuine, y'all.
I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys, honored my husband so well bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same.
That part is also important to remember. When she says, I want to thank President Trump, I want y'all to remember that, because this relationship with Trump is brought up during the town hall event, and her response was horrendous.
Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife.
You have no idea the fire that you ignited within his wife. Wow, that really sounds like the Holy Spirit, huh? Interesting.
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Yeah, she does say, I don't know why the Guardian took that part out, but she does say what you've unleashed as well. She does say that. So, but I mean, that part is probably more important. She says, you have no idea the fire that you've set off inside his wife. But in the response that she gives to Barri Weiss, it ain't no, oh, you have no idea what you set off inside his wife. It was very much so, oh, well, no, I was actually talking about the Holy Spirit, because she was explaining, or Barri Weiss said that people were taking it as if, she was talking about herself specifically. And once again, it's because she was talking about herself very specifically. But why? This is what I'm saying. Whenever somebody backtracks, because my thing is, if somebody asks, if I thought that a particular group was responsible, like the elites, for example, because to be frank, whenever my grandparents did die, and I know that it was because of government policies, I know that for a fact, I did rage. Like, whenever I finally got the courage and got the energy and got the spirit to get back on camera, I was very clear about where I stood on issues of medical freedom, on vaccination, passports, things like that, Moderna, the research that I was doing. Like, I stood on business. I'm like, nah, because I remember before my grandmother passed away, shortly after, my grandma, I was like, Grandma, are you cool with this? Because I'm not going to let this go. I can't. When my grandfather passed away, not even 36 hours after taking his first Moderna shot that he was forced to take, and then they hid, they wouldn't let my grandmother do an autopsy because we all knew that it was because of the vaccine that he was forced to take while he was doing dialysis. They made him take the vaccine. They're like, well, we won't continue this dialysis, these dialysis appointments, unless you take. And they knew that you're not supposed to allow people with heart conditions to take the vaccine, even if it's prior. He hadn't had an issue for years at that point, but still, 36 hours later, my grandfather died. And whenever I finally decided I was going to go ahead and talk on camera again, my grandma, I cleared it with her, and after that, I stood on business. I didn't be like, oh no, I don't want to offend people. I don't want to. Nah, fuck the pharmaceutical industry. Period. And here's all the reasons. But now it's I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. I wasn't talking about me, because now there's this image of her out there that she's making everything about her because she is. And now the mainstream media's job is to break that pattern, right? It's to break the belief that Erika is self-serving. Let me see if I can find the part of that clip where she responds for you guys. Because, there we go. Yeah. I found it. YouTube, don't hit me with a strike, please. Don't hit me with a strike. I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just trying to do my job. And I gotta show the news. All right, so
We get home. The team goes to dinner. I'm laying in my daughter's bed, and I can't sleep. It took me months to even walk into my bedroom. I'm laying in my daughter's bed. I can't sleep. I grab my phone, and I start typing out it. And those were my words. That morning, the team reached out to me and said, they think they got the guy. You should probably say thank you to the authorities and just make a statement. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I wasn't afraid. They said, let's go to the office and let's discuss. We're at the office and they say, do you want to go live? Or we can easily, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. We can easily pre-record this. I said, absolutely not. My husband always went live. I have nothing to hide. We're fully transparent.
That's so crazy because I just remember about her disappearing and everybody asked her why she disappeared after all the news started coming out about her. Then she say something to the effect of, sorry, I was busy building. Am I remembering that wrong? I don't think so, but I digress.
What you see is what you get. If I start breaking down on live TV, I break down on live TV. My husband was assassinated. He didn't die.
I'm sorry, I don't really laugh about that. But just, if I start breaking down live TV, I break down. It's like, damn, yeah, we was waiting for that part. You just learned how to cry right. That interview she did on Fox News when she was dabbing. Bro, whoo, I ain't never seen a tissue so damn dry. I'm sure they had to start handing her wet wipes. They had to start handing her some baby wipes. Like, yo, man, we got to give you some already wet tissue because I see your eyes just trying to water. You doing the thing where you're trying to get the eyes. It won't working for a long. I'm sure she had been practicing this cry for a minute because she finally, like maybe the last couple of days, has been able to cry while being filmed live. But like, yeah, man, nah, I don't know why she was keeping so much tissue with her because them things was going, they were going to waste, man. The environmental organizations out there had to be going crazy about how many tissues she was just throwing away because they weren't being used for nothing but dabbing her makeup because they damn sure weren't dabbing any tears.
In a car accident. So we go live. I write all of my own speeches. And when I said that, that is the Holy Spirit that is unleashed. That is a revival that's unleashed. That's not meant for call to violence. That's meant for people to understand that the Lord is moving in ways we have no idea. And God is going to use something so tragic to wake people up to realize that our life is short. He only lived 31 years. 30.
Yeah. So I just want you. So that was the question that she's responding to the question about what Erika said about unleashed, about people don't know what they've unleashed. I just showed you the video where she was talking about, nah, you don't know what you've unleashed in me. And now it's about a revival. It's about a revival, everybody. That's what she's actually referring to. A spiritual revival. Dang, no, you ain't talking about no goddamn, Yo, what's crazy is, that particular video is called, that's the extended cut, right? So what's crazy about this is, we know it was edited. Like all of this was edited. It was pre-recorded and edited. And some of the stuff that she says, I'm sure, was edited out, and they edited it to make sure that she made sense to some degree. Because if you listen to so many non sequiturs, her thoughts are in like they're not sequential. Like her thoughts she doesn't respond to the questions. She takes a while to get around to the point. And then when she finally does get around to the point, you assume that what she said prior will be a lead-in to the conclusion. But what she said prior has nothing to do with her ultimate conclusion. Which is why I said, like, damn, you know, like somebody said, you know, she could be doing all this by her own will, or she's just a very, very useful idiot. Like, she knows she's being used, but she is so stupid. She can't, and she's been trained to do this her whole life for the most part. She is not intelligent enough to get out of it now. Even if she wanted to. That's a huge possibility. But it's like every time I watch an interview with her and I listen to her respond to questions like this, it's like politicians who forget that YouTube exists or that the internet exists. Like, you are not about to sit here and say, like, oh, well, I was talking about a revival. No, you said what fire they unleashed in his wife. You his wife. That's you. And Barri doesn't do a follow-up question. She doesn't say, well, that's not what you said. She didn't say that. She doesn't criticize her. She doesn't check her. She continues as if we didn't all witness Erika specifically say what? The fire she released in his wife. There, at some point, there was a branding switch. Because even though Erika, and not only in this town hall, she's been saying the same thing basically on this entire media tour over the last several days. Everybody needs to get off social media. Put your phones down. Go touch dirt. Da, 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 da. I'm like, Charlie believed in that. Boy, Charlie never touched dirt. That was his goddamn problem. Charlie, let's be very clear. Charlie Kirk took advantage of the fact that people were chronically online. He would take a story about some super radical liberal and apply it and discuss it as if it was all leftist all the time and made millions of dollars off of that particular job. And you're like, nah, like, this is why I'm like, you know, Charlie believed in putting down the phone and not being on social media. No. But clearly you forgot, like, we do have social media. And your husband has not been dead that long that we forgot all the stuff that you said right after he died. We have not stopped discussing it because we're waiting for you to make sense. Especially given how much sense, monetarily speaking, you've actually made since then. Because there's nothing about any of these interviews that instill confidence in me that she will be a great CEO. Somebody else is really running that organization. She's just getting a paycheck to shut up. Or really to shut up when it's time to shut up and to talk when it's time to talk. Emotional appeal. It's just a bunch. You say, I haven't been able to sleep. You know, I haven't been able to sleep with my dad. It's been months since I've been able to sleep in my own room. Well, it's only been, 2 months since he died? Not even, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but maybe close to 2 months now. It's been months since I've been able to sleep. You know, that's normal, by the way. Okay. I'm sure somebody had to tell her that was normal, given that she's a fucking android. But yeah, it is normal to not want to sleep in a room after with your spouse after they pass away. My grandmother didn't sleep in their room when my grandpa passed away for months. Hell, even really until the end of her life, she liked to sleep downstairs on the couch. And I get that. But I'm sure somebody had to tell Erika that. I don't know, like I said, I try not to be petty, but Erika just, every time she opens her fucking mouth, it pisses me off that people are defending this. Because it's why I decided this video, once again, ADHD aside, guys. When I have my ADHD aside, y'all just got to work with me. I promise you, it comes back. It always comes back. We always boomerang, okay? Elon Musk puts out there was a clip of an Elon Musk interview where he was saying that that America and Western civilization is suffering from like suicidal empathy. What? And it's like it's racist ass Elon. Elon has become totally unhinged, by the way, because all he does all day is go on social media and We hate black people. We hate black people. White people are the victim. We hate black people. We hate black people. We hate. That's all Elon Musk does all day now. It's bizarre. It's like he's having a mental breakdown ever since he was kicked out of the Trump administration and realized they only kept him around to spend his $200 million and like they made him feel important, but he isn't actually as important as he thought he was. So now he's like trying to jump on this train of being anti-black or anti-immigrant, even though he wasn't a legal immigrant himself. But then he conducts this interview where he says that the West and the US specifically is suffering from suicidal empathy. When conservatives like Elon, and let's be clear, just like Charlie as well, they didn't have empathy for any fucking body. They don't have empathy until they are the victims. And that's the only reason that you actually give a damn is because, wow, I can imagine being a white man who potentially has to face the consequence for my actions because I took advantage of the privilege and the benefits I got from being a white man and how much vitriol I spewed and engaged in because I thought I could be protected by my whiteness. Empathy is not the problem in the US. Guilt, a lot of that, there's a lot of guilt that leads people to do dumb stuff, but it damn sure ain't empathy. But when it comes to Erika Kirk, all of a sudden, everybody's demanding, all these conservative establishment elite, all these Zionists specifically, elite, are demanding Candace Owens and others have empathy. And I'm like, at the same time, this clip of Elon Musk goes viral, and I'm seeing some of those same conservatives being like, yeah, that is America's problem, suicidal empathy. We had too much empathy in the US. That's the problem. What? But that's how these elites, that's how these psychopaths, that's the only way to describe them, psychopaths, sociopaths. That's what a sociopath does, by the way, right? They will demand you empathize with their situation while simultaneously giving you the middle finger and looking at you like you're a crazy person if you request empathy from them. You're like, what? Why would I give you? That's your fault. But that's it. That's been Erika's whole little, I don't want to call it a victory tour, but that's what it's looking like. Because in my opinion, as much as people are demanding Candace has empathy for Erika, if you are paying attention, like in my opinion, and somebody might disagree with this, but Candace is really hurt by Charlie's death. She is. Like to the point where some people they believe that maybe her and Charlie might have had something more in the past, which is a huge possibility. I mean, you'd be surprised at some of the stuff these people be doing behind closed doors. Okay, some relationships that unfold, you know, and they end before people notice. But yeah, that happens. They're human too. It happens in business. I was thinking about happening at University of Michigan. Okay, yeah, it happens. But like Candace is so dedicated to figuring out what actually happened to Charlie and all the people who screwed him over and holding them accountable, that you would assume that somebody would take a step back and say, well, maybe I should have some empathy for Candace. Because she lost, like, I don't feel, like Tucker, for example, is also he's pursuing this investigation and covering the story about Charlie's death with objectivity and focus, like Candace is too, like focus on the facts. But Candace, and her dedication, it don't feel the same. It feels like, no, this is extremely personal. And maybe that's part of the reason why I felt, I'm gonna check out what she got to say, because this is like, she's not letting this go. This feels different. And it was the same thing with her pro-Palestine stance. But she gave kind of like with Charlie, she gave an explanation like, no, whenever I became a mother, like, and I'm looking at these kids getting bombed, and I was imagining myself being a mother in that situation, not feeling like I couldn't do anything about it. Like, that's what we call empathy. What she was going through to make her pro-Palestine, anti-Zionist, basically was empathy and then reviewing the facts and then coming to a conclusion like, I cannot support this. So like, well, nobody's asking for for Erika and others to have empathy for, like if she wants to conduct her own individual investigation, just to be certain that the authorities are getting it right. Because we know the authorities get it wrong all the time. And they lie all the time. Charlie knew that. Right? Okay. Why can't the authorities conduct their own investigation on the side while Candace does her due diligence, uses her platform to investigate the murder of her friend to make sure that everybody's on the same page? What's wrong with that? Unless you're worried that she might expose something that could expose you. Just saying. Erika says also during this town hall, the internet world has dehumanized, going back to the point of empathy, the internet and the world has dehumanized us. My husband never went after people, he went after ideas. Once again, this is like an attempt to whitewash what Charlie Kirk was and who he was. Did Charlie Kirk talk to people? Yeah, and that's indisputable. But let's be clear, Charlie Kirk made a lot of money off dehumanizing individuals. He thrived on it. He would love to give hot takes about dehumanizing people. That culture that you are criticizing. If he just was known for talking to people, like it would have been a surprise to everybody if he was just like assassinated, like in the fashion that he was assassinated. It would have been a surprise to everybody. But there was a reason why when it happened, we were like, well, I kind of expected that. Like, even Jordan Peterson, as much as I don't like him, I don't expect like Jordan Peterson one day to just end up being assassinated. Face a lot of vitriol, yeah, because he's an idiot and he says dumb stuff. Assassination, probably not. Not like from a random political, ideological extremist. Like, no, he's not that inflammatory. He doesn't go out of his way to piss people off. Like, he doesn't like literally make an organization dedicated to pissing people off. Even though he says things that piss people off. It's not the same thing. There are levels to it. The vitriol that you are seeing on the internet, Charlie took advantage of coming up in a generation, because he's part of my generation, really. I witnessed his ascent into media fame because, you know, everybody knows that he got famous because he got rejected from college and thought that he deserved to get accepted. And all of a sudden he hates colleges, even though he doing campus tours about how he hates colleges and everything is unfair and white people are the victims. But yeah, Charlie realized and tapped into the same thing that we see so many conservatives tap into, the dehumanization of individuals. And if one of Charlie's best friends was Donald Trump, like you said, Charlie loved you, Trump. I mean, he knows you loved him too. Trump's whole grift is the dehumanization of individuals. That's his whole grift. Trump is so bad. Like, some of the stuff that he be saying, I'm like, I don't even think you believe some of the shit you be saying sometimes. Like, you ever see some, like, there's a lot of people who will pretend to be more racist than they are to go along to get along. Like, you see that in every friend group, every clique, every job you've ever worked at. Like, that's Trump to some degree. Like, I don't think you're as racist as you pretend to be, guy. Like, you might be racist, but like, you're definitely using this to distract from some shit. Or you are definitely just trying to fit in, or definitely trying to use this to gain support on whatever issue. Or that's basically what it is. But at the end of the day, he dehumanized people all the time, and that was Charlie's camp. But the reason why she was saying this, and she brought this up, was because they basically, Barri Weiss asked her about like the internet and how it's making people politically violent, and she's saying that Charlie, and Erika was insinuating that Charlie had nothing to do with the political violence that he experienced, that he never incited violence. Those are her words. But I can't really, just because you don't say go be violent does not mean that you did not incite violence. I don't believe that. it don't follow. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like, oh, I believe in free speech. And then like, I mean, it's like with James Lee. Like, I mean, you look at Breaking Points and James Lee. I believe in, you hear Crystal and Sagar talk about free speech all the time. Matt Grant, right? Ryan Grimm, excuse me, talk about free speech all the time. And then we come to find out they're out there censoring interviews from James for criticizing, for an interview that would have involved Kash Patel, of all people, and his potentially Mossad asset girlfriend just suing people on Kash Patel's behalf. And I don't even like, I can't remember the name of the guy he sued, or that's being sued. He's a conservative and I do not like him. But like, it's a bad precedent for the First Amendment if you can't retweet something and then out of nowhere, the girlfriend, not the wife, the girlfriend of an FBI director is just suing the shit out of people. Like, that's crazy. And James covered that. Elijah, that's his name. That's the guy's being sued. And like, even though Crystal and Sagar keep preaching free speech, censorship, independent media, anti-Zionism, but then it's, oh, we're moving in a different direction. Come on, bro. Y'all don't really believe in free speech. So just because you don't call for censorship, just because you don't call for violence, doesn't mean that your words are inherently violent, that your actions have not demonstrated or suggested people to be violent. Okay? Like, I think that everybody knows that. I'm not saying that he deserved to die. That's not what I'm saying. But like, let's not pretend like he didn't have a hand in his own demise. That's just true, unfortunately. But it's the truth. Words, I'm not saying words are violent, but words can cause violence. And when you are being as inflammatory as Charlie has been known to be, I know that there are these people love to do these curated clips of the time somebody appears to be intentionally understanding and empathetic, and they seem to be getting along. But then everybody forgets the other clips, the hours and hours and hours of videos of this person being a fucking piece of shit, dehumanizing everybody that doesn't look or sound like them, practice the same religion as them. Everybody forgets those clips. You can't just point out 3 or 4 times where somebody's like understanding. Nobody like she talks about in the town hall. There was a student who came up and asked a question and people started laughing at him. And Charlie's like, don't laugh at him. It took a lot of courage to come up here. Yeah, there are those moments because he knows everybody's watching. And it's already a big deal whenever he comes on a college campus because you know there's going to be some people that show up to protest it. But then there's the hours and hours of live streams and the tweets. And we can't forget those. She said during the town hall as well, Erika did, he gave them a microphone. They gave him a bullet in the neck. Who is them in they? Because during this town hall multiple times, she said that we have to stop political violence on both sides. But then she kept talking about them and they. Who's them and they? Once again, there is an assumption that Tyler Robinson is guilty. That comes from Erika, that came from Barri Weiss during this town hall, that came from the other people that have interviewed her during her little media tour, her press tour. And when she says they and them, I think that everybody can agree. Erika is specifically referring to the left. You don't have to guess. Because even during this town hall, when she's offered an opportunity to condemn Trump's words in literal cause of violence, she doesn't. And we're going to show that part in a second. But once again, why are we assuming that Tyler Robinson is guilty when there's no evidence that suggests that? Not any legitimate evidence. More specifically, there is no, like, not only do we not have evidence, but it's like, y'all not even trying to conduct an investigation. And the stuff that is happening that could impede your investigation, like having the scene paved over in the middle of a court case, like, she ain't got nothing to say about that. Okay, not weird at all. But that it's pushing, and she keeps playing this game. She keeps playing this game. It's the same talking points. Zionism. We love Israel and Jews so much. Super weird how much she talks about that, even during this town hall. But then it's the they, them, they, that, their side. Like, but she won't say the left because she keeps trying to say we got to condemn political violence on both sides. She keeps talking about how Charlie loved Israel so much, which is also weird. But then she won't talk about the fact that it's like, well, hold on. It is more than one side. Like, the political violence is coming from really, actually, no. Actually, the study that was done by the U.S. government, by the way, showed that the political violence is actually coming mostly from the right, actually. And then, remember, I did the story covering how the department, can't remember what department it was, maybe the DOD or Homeland Security took the study down. They took the study off of the website. So it ain't even a both sides type of situation. If we're being objective, the U.S.'s own government concluded that most political violence is actually coming from the right. So I want to check out this part really quick where there's a request made by one of the audience members who actually sat down with, or actually asked Charlie a question that day at Utah. Because the whole interaction, y'all, it might make your stomach turn after you hear how she responds. Just want to warn you in advance. If you think the response is going to make some kind of sense, just go ahead and take that notion out your head right now.
Ask you a question.
Hi there. Erika, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your calls for peace and unity. And I'm likewise horrified by the people in my so-called camp who were cheering about Charlie's murder. I believe that they stoke the flames of violence. But even worse is when powerful, influential people on either side of the aisle stoke the flames. When they do it, the flames can become an inferno. And this leads me to Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth, who has more responsibility than anyone else to put the flames out. Just last month, President Trump called on 6 Democratic lawmakers to be tried for sedition, which he clarified was punishable by death. He then reposted a simple message: hang them. I think that you've been making strides to bring peace to our country, and that Turning Point has been asking Democrats to decry the individuals who cheer for violence. I have and will continue to decry them. But any good faith effort to stop political violence must hold both parties to the same standard and expectation. So in that spirit, will you condemn the violent rhetoric of Donald Trump, the most powerful and influential person on earth?
I appreciate your question. You know my heart.
What? off rip, before we even get into it. You know my heart. We don't know you, woman. That's kind of been like the whole theme of the last couple of months. We had no idea who you were, and not everybody knows who you are. And they're not letting us forget. We don't know we don't know who you are. We don't know. But whenever it's a very simple, are you going to condemn violent rhetoric? Like, because this is a very clear example of, like, he's like, okay, try for sedition, but then it's punishable by hanging or punishable by death. And it's like, no, let me be even clearer, hang them. And you're like, and he's just a very simple question. Hey man, so like, you gonna condemn that shit? You know my heart. Bruh.
Why would I ever say, yes, go murder people?
We didn't say that nobody suggested that.
This is so much deeper than just one. I understand your sentiment. I do. But this is also so much deeper than just one person. This starts at the home.
Oh, no, this is not deep. This question isn't deeper than one person. This question, Trump specifically saying that Democrats should be tried for that, some Democrats should be tried for sedition, saying that it's punishable by death, right? Calling for the death of politicians, and only on one side, of course, as usual. And then literally saying hang them. It starts at the home. You try to tell me that Barron Trump is like, Dad, hey, bro, I'm on social media. They would be like, they would really appreciate it if you would do something about these 6 Democrats. Maybe suggest them being hung for sedition. What? Trump is 115 years old. If you mean it started at home, like in the sense that his family is KKK, okay, cool, maybe that. But like, oh no, actually Trump was a Democrat. Awkward. So like, what are we doing? You know my heart. This is more than one person. He says, given that you are condemning political violence across spectrum, supposedly, allegedly, do you condemn this person literally calling for political violence? There's no room for interpretation here. There's no room for innuendo. He is calling for political violence against political figures for political reasons. So can you don't say something about that? You know my heart. Yo.
Okay?
Oh, by the way, she said Charlie loved you and he knows you loved him. That's probably why this individual decided to specifically bring up the Trump thing. Like, yo, man, like you talking about how much your man got along with him and vice versa, and your man was assassinated because of political violence from one side. So like, will you condemn the political violence on the other side specifically because you said that your man got along with him, loved this man? She can't even do it.
Starts with family. This starts with a seed that grows and grows. You can choose to have evil in your heart, or you can choose to have light. What you consume and what you absorb from the outside world will manifest itself. No, I will never agree with political violence. My husband is a victim of it. I'm a victim of it. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can blame everyone else. We have to look in the mirror when you become a father, when you become a mother. How are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and...
If somebody want to call Donald Trump's parents and ask how they were raising his kid? What? What? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Trump, how did you raise this young man who was like 89 years old? Did you just give him some jacks? What did they play with back in the day? I don't even know. Some dominoes, and just put him in front of the TV guide and what? Bro, do you condemn the political violence come out of Trump's mouth? Or that's the longest yes or no I have ever heard. This is the yes or no of somebody who clearly intends on trying to run for an office, a political office one day. That's what it looks like. Not gonna lie to you. And she's trying, she's practicing. But this is the longest yes or no I've heard, like, since establishment Democrats asked, do they support universal health care during the elections? Like, do you support universal health care? Well, listen, I support expanding everything on the ACA, but also maintaining the ACA because it's very important. 80% of families who didn't have healthcare coverage now have healthcare coverage because of the ACA. So that's why I feel like we shouldn't really completely dismantle the ACA as much as we should improve upon the ACA, the things that are already working for families that have benefited from the ACA. So yeah. Okay, so do you support universal healthcare or no? What we really have to focus on is making sure the Republicans don't destroy and dismantle the ACA. Yeah, but it's really a yes or no question. Yeah, no, that's what I said. It's just yes or no. It's yes or no.
Saying, go down that rabbit hole. I'm trying to go to Pilates class. You can just sit in the corner and look at your iPad or look at your phone and go down that rabbit hole and see what you can learn from that instead of being a parent.
He looks so confused. He's like, what?
So my call to action from that is parents, step up. Do you want your kid to be a thought leader or an assassin? That's where we're at.
Wow. That's so inspirational, y'all. That was so inspirational. The question was, do you condemn Trump's political violence, his literal call for political violence, using social media to call for political violence? Do you want your kid to be an assassin or a thought leader? Okay, well, hold on, what? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe you should ask Charlie that, considering that he was friend, or, if he was still around. You could ask Charlie that, considering that he loved Trump and Trump was his friend and Trump loves him, and you made a big deal about that, remember? And Trump is calling for political violence on social media, using his social media to influence young minds and people of his base to support political violence against the other side. And look at just the conviction in her face. She really thought she went off, y'all. She thought she ate that shit up. She was like, do you want your kid to be an assassin or a thought leader? That's where we're at. What? What? Whoa! Let's continue.
Do you think our political leaders have a responsibility to turn the temperature down right now?
Well, I think everyone has a responsibility to do that, and I'm doing my part.
Yeah. Do y'all think it's merely a coincidence that she refused to condemn Donald Trump? That she refused to criticize Donald Trump? Do y'all think you think it's a coincidence? No, it's not. I'm just be real with you. It's not. She was not going to answer that question. She was not going to condemn Donald Trump. She never was going to. And what I find funny is that, so up until this point, there were no follow-ups allowed from the people asking the questions. And I'm pretty sure that gentleman, if he did follow up, well, not like we would know, because they would probably edit it out. Because her answer there was ridiculous. But she's like, everybody has a response. Do you think our leaders have a? Yes. The answer is, yeah, our leaders do have a responsibility. Yeah, that's why they're leaders. It's like kind of like inherent. It's inherent in the job title, in the job description. Regardless of what you're talking about, they have a responsibility. And you're like, everybody does. Well, no, not the same way as this motherfucker who's the king of the country. Not my responsibilities are not as vast as Donald Trump's. That's why you got to run for that office. So there are laws in place to make sure that they don't take advantage of those that power and the responsibility that comes with it. We ain't the same thing, but we all got responsibility. It's like, do you condemn Trump or not, lady? But she won't do it. Why? Because that money is it. I can't have Trump and his people coming after me. Because the whole reason I'm here is to make sure I keep getting money for the team. That was like,
I'm not in control of other people.
Okay.
I'm not. Everybody, it's everybody's job, everybody's responsibility. Look at me, that's what I'm doing. Look at me. But also, I'm not in control of other people. Then why just give a whole goddamn speech about how everybody else should do exactly what you're saying, what you're suggesting? You know, while you were busy ignoring that simple yes/no question with a simple yes or no answer. Why did you give a whole goddamn speech about what everybody should be doing? You know, because you're super mom and you know exactly how to raise kids. Why don't you just say, now you, I'm not everybody. I can't control everybody. Well, hold on. Well, which one is it? Do we all have responsibility? Do you have responsibility? Did she went on a whole speech, a tirade about what other people should do with their kids? And it was like, yeah, we all have responsibility now, and I can't control everybody. Holy shit, bro. Like, it was brutal. This town hall was brutal, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh man. So there was one question that there was a follow-up allowed. And you could, oh, you see the badge. You see it. I know you see it. This is Barri Weiss. This is CBS. So you know there wasn't gonna be a town hall with Erika Kirk, and you wasn't gonna see a little yellow badge, little yellow ribbon. You knew it was coming. Because what father doesn't want to be called on social media, or excuse me, by the mainstream media to exploit his daughter's death on behalf of Zionists, to prop up a widow who was ignoring an investigation into her husband's? Huh.
Hello, Erika. Just as
before has
Bob Milgram is the father of Sarah Milgram. Sarah was fatally shot last May outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., alongside Yaron Lashinsky, her boyfriend. Sarah was just 26 years old when she was killed. Bob, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Barry. Hello, Erika. Just as our family could not anticipate the pain we've been going through following the murder of our daughter, Sarah, there is no way I can understand the pain that you and your children are going through as a result of Charlie's tragic death. Our daughter was killed because of anti-Semitism.
I want to be very clear. That's a huge leap. His daughter worked for the Israeli embassy, as well as her Christian, I believe it was her boyfriend or fiance. He was Christian, and they worked for the Israeli embassy. And Israel is committing a genocide. Yeah, you know, I don't even know how legitimate, by the way. We don't know if there was a false flag. We do know they were killed. That's true, but we don't know if it was a false flag. But nobody knew that they were Jewish or that she was Jewish. There was no way to dissect and determine and discern whether or not they were both Jewish, they were both Christian, they were both Christian Zionists, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to be clear about that. They weren't murdered because of anti-Semitism. If there was a cause that other outside of the idea of the possibility of a false flag, if there was a cause, it is extremely possible that somebody was pissed because of the genocide being committed by Israel and the fact that your kid was working and is working for the government that is committing it, like in front of the whole world, right? That doesn't justify necessarily those two individuals specifically being killed because they're not government officials, right? Like they're not making decisions in the government. Because like that would be like the same as suggesting that somebody who is like working in the U.S. embassy in a random country deserves to be killed because of the U.S. actions when they might actually be there for genuine reasons, like trying to de-escalate. That's a possibility. So I wouldn't say that justifies it. But like it isn't because you can't stand up here and be like, it's anti-Semitism with the big ass yellow ribbon on. Like, we know what you're here for. That damn thing is so shiny. They probably gave him that yellow ribbon the moment that he arrived to the studio. We know what you're here for. And also, once again, we know what Erika is here for, and that's why she's not doing a good job beating allegations. Shabbat shalom.
Hate against Jews and hate against the Jewish homeland, Israel. We know about the growth of anti-Semitism on the left.
Hate against the Jewish homeland. It's not your home. Sorry, I just got to say that. It's not y'all's. It's not your fucking home. It is not your home. That's Palestine. And even if a part of that was y'all home, yeah, people tend to hate when you steal other people's homes and claim it for your own. So we'll be clear about that too.
Including here in New York City, where the mayor-elect still will not condemn the phrase, globalize the intifada. What I want you to address is growing anti-Semitism on the right, including Holocaust denial, anti-Zionism, and the normalizing of...
You heard how he put that in there? Now anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, y'all. Which is weird because now anti-Zionism, last time I checked, now I know being bilingual sometimes I get a little bit mixed up, but like anti-Zionism has its own word, right? Like for its own very specific. If anti-Zionism was anti-Semitism, it would just be called anti-Semitism. Right? like, yeah, man, anti-Semitism. Like, how do you mean? Like anti-Zionism? Well, no, is it anti-Zionism anti-Zionism? Because not every Jewish person is Zionist. And actually, the assumption that every Jewish person is Zionist would be, ironically, their definition or a sensible definition of anti-Semitism. The assumption that, like, this generalization of all Jewish people having the same exact belief and practicing the same exact political, because that's a political assertion, this Zionism. Like, but they let us slip that shit in there now because I think the ADL has recently tried to push this idea that, oh yeah, now we're claiming that anti-Zionism is just another form. It's a rebrand of anti-Semitism. And now even Jewish people who are anti-Zionist, they're calling the Jewish people who are anti-Zionist anti-Semitic. Yes, I know. It's ironic. But that's what they're doing now. It's a good way to get people banned off of social media.
Centuries-old conspiracy theories about Jews. Will you here condemn the individuals spreading that hate and speak out clearly enough against anti-Semitism so we can prevent another tragedy?
Yes, sir. First of all, I'm so sorry. You and I are a part of a very small club. Painful. But you're in good company, and I will pray for you.
That's a weird thing to say. You're in good company.
Sucks, doesn't it?
That's a weird thing to say after your family gets. You're in good company. I don't want to be in. That's not good company to be in, bro. Like that's a weird. Like this is why she says she writes her own speeches. By the way, we can tell, Erika. We can tell. You are definitely the one writing your speeches. Because what?
Hate is hate. It's evil. Charlie and I have always been very clear on our stance. Israel, Jewish people.
You see how she did that? See how Charlie and I have been very clear on our stance with Israel. Yeah, she turned it all the way on for this particular part. Charlie was not clear. Well, towards the end, he was becoming a little bit more clear. Yeah, I'm not rocking with them like that anymore. Netanyahu, I'm not going to Israel. I'm not going to let y'all control my organization. Like, that's what we know. But it's bizarre, right? Because so the people who are watching mainstream media only, and maybe they're just hearing the claims that are being made about things that Candace Owens has provided proof for, right? they're going to believe this. They're going to think Candace is lying, even though she's the one who provided evidence. And because, like, why would his wife lie about Charlie stance? I don't know why the fuck has she been lying about so many other things about her even her personal life. The lie that she was raised by her mom alone, like her dad wasn't a part of her life. When her mom and her dad, even though, you know, they supposedly have divorced each other, ran a business together for Arizona, and he allegedly moved there to be a part of the family and help raise her. But they ran a business together. I don't know. Why does Erika lie? But I know that for anybody who claims that Candace be lying about this stuff, like, okay, well, it's kind of hard to call her the liar because she's the one providing the receipts and the proof. And we've seen the videos. We've seen the text messages. The text messages were confirmed by TPUSA, even though they tried to give some kind of weird context that didn't make any sense. But she's like, you know where me and Charlie stood on Israel? Shabbat Shalom. You know, he's come home. Shabbat Shalom. I'm like, okay, DJ Erika, calm down.
It's awful. Awful. Anti-Semitism is what healing factor comes out of hating Jewish people? What healing factor comes out of hating Christians? What healing factor comes out? Hate in general.
Yes, she stopped short of Muslims this time, huh? Earlier in the town hall, she was talking about all three. She said Jewish people, Christian, Muslim. This time, she was like, what comes out of hating Oh, hold up. Can't say that this time. Forgot. This is that part of the show. Because if she says what healing factor comes out of hating Muslims in front of the rabbi Zionist, who's trying to defend Israel. Yeah, Israel, what healing factor does come out of hating Muslims, you pieces of shit? That's a good question. Let that guy answer. We all want to know. Because I agree, there's not really any healing factor that comes out of hating any particular group, except for Zionists and elites. I get a lot of healing from my despise of Zionism because I know I'm on the right side. So yeah. But if she says in that particular, because she said earlier, specifically Christians, Jewish people, and Zionists. And then in this particular, it caught my ear. I'm like, hold up, she didn't say Muslims this time? Oh yeah, I'm talking about Israel. Can't bring up Muslims. And this is, I'll tell you, the inconsistencies, you can't avoid them. When they're trying to make this woman the face of an organization like TPUSA and claim that we're the ones who are fucking weird for acknowledging these inconsistencies.
Nothing. Charlie always would say very clearly, Jew hate was brain rot. He would always say it. We've been to Israel twice together. And to be able to walk in the place where our Lord walked and see the Bible come to life in Technicolor, how could you hate that place? How could
what? Nobody hates the actual physical ground of Israel, bro. In fact, I think that the majority of us would argue, no, it's the opposite. There are a lot of people who love and worship those grounds and do consider them holy, which is why we're in the situation that we're in to begin with. Nobody hates that place. They hate the Israeli Zionist genocidal government full of psychopaths. That's what they hate. But hey, you know, I got a gas station right down the street, so I guess you can gaslight me all you want to. I can go fill up later. Shit, Jesus Christ.
you hate the Jewish people? Why? Because you need to fulfill a conspiracy theory? I'm wrapped in, people say I'm a part of conspiracy theories all the time. It's sick, and it needs to stop.
People don't say you're part of conspiracy theories all the time. We literally just, you know, y'all see my video, I just point out all the things that you actually did. They point out facts about your life. I don't know what you want them to do. Like, I wouldn't have covered the stories that I covered about Erika if they literally, I'm like, hold up, this isn't innuendo. Like, this actually happened? These articles about her are real. There are interviews about Erika Kirk in Romania. She can't go back. Oh, also, why the fuck were you in Romania? Like, these are conspiracy theories, Erika. Like, you did lie about your father not being in your life. There was an interview where you were talking about how grateful you were that your mom was holding down the fort, basically by herself, and then you go on another interview and say that your dad decided to finally move to Arizona because he had some family there and some business there, and wanted to be part of your life. Like, these aren't conspiracy theories. There might be a conspiracy, but ain't a fucking theory about it. These are facts about your life that you continue to lie about, and then turn around and play victim when people acknowledge reality because you can't keep up with your own lies. You talking about how much you be off the phone and you're disengaged from social media. Maybe you should engage more with social media. Maybe. So that you can actually keep up with the lies you're telling to people. That's what's getting your ass in trouble, and you are upset. And right now, in my opinion, I feel like the media is trying to basically cover her tracks. So, because when you go on these media storms, like what she's doing, it's like to inundate people with their version of the facts. You feel me? Like, that's what they're doing. Because if you have enough of these clips circling, then it builds up emotional appeal, and people ignore the inconsistencies in her stories, the lies that have been called out. And but unfortunately for her, what's been happening, so what's happened with my videos about Erika Kirk, my video on Instagram about Erika Kirk, it hit at one point, it had 300,000, right? 300,000 views. I did too. Both of them actually did crazy numbers, but it's 300,000 views, 325,000, and it stops. Erika started going on this tour, and you know what happened? And I thought that I just, had been paying attention. And then when she went on this tour, one of the videos is about to hit 1 million views on Instagram about all the stuff that she did. Why? Because Erika Kirk is now trending. And the algorithm sometimes they don't, especially on Instagram, it's not interpreting whether or not it's a positive news coverage of Erika or negative news coverage. It's just coverage of Erika. And because algorithm generally is dominated by mainstream, they're just like, well, whatever, just let this one play because it has a lot of views already. So more people were like, oh shit, I didn't know about this. I'm like, what? I'm going to the comments because I get the notification. I'm like, are they commenting about my video that I did about Erika 2 months ago? And I look at the number, I'm like, holy shit, where did it get 900,000 views? Because of the media tour. That's what it is. So she's doing damage to herself. And instead of actually doing something that is in her control, which is, let me look at these stories that are being told about me that might be true, might not be true, but probably are true, and come up with legitimate answers, because this is going to keep getting brought up, and the rabbit holes are just going deeper. No, she's like, it's God, Israel, God, Charlie, Shabbat, Shalom, the Sabbath, more money. Thank God for BB, thank God for Trump. Yeah, and where are the girls at? Where are the kids? Why did you get kicked out? And since you're saying that you and Charlie went to Israel together twice, what happened to that last time Charlie was supposed to go back to Israel? Because, remember, we were told that he's refused to go. Measurement, this is why no DNA test consumer is allowed and are illegal in that country, because the real truth will be revealed. Ancestry, said they all moved together. That is very true. Yeah, it's crazy. I thought that was a rumor for a long time. There's no DNA test allowed in Israel. I thought people were joking about that. No, they weren't. I looked it up after months of me thinking it was a joke, because damn, Israel wouldn't be that obvious, right? They wouldn't just ban DNA test. No, they actually did. Because Israel is allowed to compete in Eurovision and the Euro Cup for soccer, which makes total sense because, when you are literally fixed in the Middle East and you're allegedly, Middle Eastern, it makes sense that you, out of all the other Middle Eastern countries, are allowed to compete in the Euro Cup, in Eurovision. It's almost like all y'all motherfuckers is European. We've been saying. What the fuck? Yeah, but no, they are that obvious.
We are human. No one is perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jew is perfect. No Muslim is perfect.
Now you hear it. What does hate against Christians serve? What does hate against Jewish people serve? Muslims left out. We're humans. We're not perfect. No Christian is perfect. No Jewish person is perfect. No Muslim is perfect. That's weird. You hear that selective rhetoric? That's purposeful.
We are broken, sinful humans in need of a Lord and Savior. And that's why it is so important to give your life to the Lord. Because once you do that and you fully surrender to the Lord, you have no room in your heart for hate. And so, sir, I am so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that
It already happened.
we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament.
That's a that's a weird framing, right? We're living in enemy-occupied territory. That's a weird way to say that. I mean, living in the U.S., I actually do believe that. I mean, I don't live in the U.S. anymore, but yeah, but not for this. I believe that people living in the U.S., you are living in enemy-occupied territory because the U.S. does not give a shit if you live or die. Like, they will send your asses to die. They will kill you on the soil as long as it furthers their globalist agenda. I do believe that. As long as it could shield them from accountability. I do believe that. But the way that she said it is bizarre. It was bizarre.
I'm so sorry what happened to your daughter. I pray that does not happen, and I pray that that is something that we can somehow extinguish in this world. But we are living in enemy-occupied territory. And every single day we need to guard ourselves, guard our minds, guard our heart. And the best way to do that is reading God's word. And you cannot separate the Old Testament from the New Testament. You cannot. You cannot.
Okay, yeah, that was like a super weird thing to say because like you literally can, because like the whole point of the Old Testament and New Testament is to be separated. Like if you're a Christian, if you're a Protestant, I really, truly hope that you guys are separating the New Testament from the Old Testament, because that is the purpose of the New Testament. Like the whole thing, like that's like why it was created. Like, hey, I'm Jesus here. Like we gonna put a pause on all that wrath and destruction shit. I'm here. I'm the GOAT. Sacrifice me. Cool. Sins forgiven. Like, I really pray that y'all are not still out here literally sacrificing lambs every time you want to sin forgiven because you don't want to separate the New Testament from the Old Testament. Because if y'all are, don't tell me and don't put it in the chat, because y'all probably gonna go to jail. You probably gonna go to jail if y'all out here just putting blood on yourself and shit like that because you trying to, like, nah. I mean, y'all, I'm sure Erika still be out here eating bacon. I'm sure she'd be out there eating bacon. Ooh, no, I want to separate them. You see her covering her hair up? If we're not separating the New Testament from the Old Testament, Erika is always covered up all the time? No. Like, hey, why are people clapping? Like, yeah, no, you can't do that. Yeah, I really hope that y'all are. For the love of God, please. If you're going to read, like, I don't even, the Bible is a good allegory, and it has its uses in understanding our history. It actually does. But like, what's the point of reading the Bible and believing in it to the degree that she claims she does, if we're not going to understand the basic tenet, like the basic point of the separation of the Old Testament and the New Testament, and call yourself a Christian? You better be separating that shit, or you're doing Christian wrong. You're doing Christianity wrong if you're not separating the two. Just saying.
Bob, do you want to ask a follow-up?
Is there anything specific that Turning Point can do to combat anti-Semitism?
Yeah, so we're all of our college campus and high school campuses, we have these conversations. And our students understand exactly my heart and Charlie's heart and the sentiment of everything I just said. We have Shabbat dinner happening at AmFest. We have individuals in our chapters who are Jewish. We have people that are going to be having booths. We have an exhibit hall at AmFest that are Jewish, that have Jewish organizations. The only way to combat evil, just like Charlie did, is with dialogue and not being afraid to do it. If you have these things that are being said, you need to counter it with the truth.
I just want to say that's very hilarious coming from her. Hold up. Martel 203, what's going on? Charlie hasn't been buried yet because he's still alive. You know, I've been seeing that go around that he's still alive. I can't believe it. Well, I don't know if he's been buried yet, but I can't believe that he's still alive. Because unless he did something to hide himself without the knowledge of TPUSA, then like, it's hard for me to believe that he would want his legacy just because he was so egotistical. Like, I want to be very clear about that. He loved how he was perceived. He was very, very engaged with how he was perceived in the public. He controlled his personal image so much that I doubt that he would pretend to be dead just so like he can make money. Because for him, the money isn't enough. He needs the adoration. He needed it. So I can't see him hiding out after, you know, unless somebody kidnapped him. That's a possibility. But I'm just saying, that's why I can't really, but I'm not saying that it's impossible or crazy. You know, the crazier things that have happened in the world, but I can't see him going along with it voluntarily. He just loves the spotlight too much. You feel me? Like, too much. Turning Profits USA is a money laundering organization. Yeah, that's true. that damn sure is true. And shit, if what Candace is saying is true, then it's like they've been caught red-handed being that, because even Charlie was beginning to believe that to some degree, which is probably why he was conducting the audit, not because of the money that was being spent, but because of the money that was coming in that they didn't have any track of. So, yeah. So this is the only individual that was allowed to have a follow-up question. And as you could see, it was literally a promotional opportunity for Erika and TPUSA to say, look how pro-Israel we are. Look how pro-Zionist we are. We're doing so much stuff for the Jewish community. Nothing Candace said about all those text messages and nothing that Charlie said about him not taking shit from the Jewish community, or rather the Zionist community anymore. Not being, like, that's not true. Look at how much we're doing. It's Charlie's organization, so it's kind of like he's doing it even though he's dead, but it's basically like him doing it. Give us more money. Is that not what it, like, what is TPUSA going to do to combat anti-Semitism? Like, bruh, they probably fed him that question, to be honest with you. But that was, it was the, go watch it. It was the only follow-up. Because I'm sure the guy who asked, are you going to condemn Trump's calls for political violence? Pretty sure if he had the opportunity to do a follow-up, he would have done one, considering Erika didn't answer the damn question. But with this guy, she definitely answered. That was quick, right? That was probably the only question she actually answered correctly, like, or answered with a legitimate response. Yeah, so here are the things that TPUSA is doing. Yeah. Now that I can actually respond with facts, because yeah, we're gonna kiss Israel's ass as long as they keep giving us money. I like these expensive ass rings on my finger. Mrs. T. She gonna be coming out here to Mohawk in a little bit, boy. She got so much damn jewelry on. I don't really have a problem with the jewelry, but like, you know, like, be a little subtle. A little, like, at least in the beginning, I don't have a problem with the jewelry. Like, you know, if you're working and you make money and you became successful and you got wealth, okay, cool. Yeah, that ain't what really happened, Erika. Like, you took out a $30 million, what, a $40 million life insurance policy on your husband. He died right after. Then you became the CEO of an organization that you have no business being the CEO of, in this town hall, and all the interviews, like, right after are pretty indicative of that. Like, y'all, and you're getting a crazy salary for an organization that you should not be the CEO of. God knows how much donations you're getting on the side just because your husband died. And you're out here just, every time I run around, I say, hey, bling, bling. Every time I do an interview, bling, bling. Like, girl, some self-awareness. Like, I'm not saying you can't wear the jewelry. I'm just saying have some self-awareness. Like, maybe like wearing white after your husband dies, everybody was like, it's kind of weird. Once again, not judging you, just kind of weird. Have self-awareness. If you're going to try to put yourself out there like this, you know, this married widow victim, demanding empathy. Because in my opinion, Erika's not asking for empathy. Erika's demanding empathy. And that's what's bothering me about this whole thing. They're demanding empathy for her. It's like, let her make hundreds of millions of dollars off her husband's death, guys. You guys are sick. No, anytime they're not allowing people to ask questions where the government is doing shady shit regarding anybody's death, especially public figure. But whenever you're not allowing the government, whenever you're not allowing journalists or people to ask questions, when the government is doing some shady shit involving somebody's death like this, but then you're going to turn around and say, I'm going to make hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions of dollars while telling you all to shut up about the shady shit that you're calling out. It makes it look like those two things might be connected. Like them not conducting an investigation, a legitimate investigation, us calling them out for doing so, and then you subsequently making tens of millions of dollars. It makes it look like those three things might be connected in some way. And if we keep asking questions, your money stops coming in. That's what it looks like. She was asked by Barri Weiss a little bit further down, what do you have to say about Candace Owens and her wild conspiracy theories? Stop. That's what she said. Just stop. And she starts talking about the Egyptian planes. And she was like, how would I even be on an Egyptian plane? I was pregnant. Nobody said you were on an Egyptian plane. Once again, it's like I said, I don't even think she's actually looking at these videos or watching I think she's knowing Erika. I mean, based off of everything we've seen so far, I think she's listening to what other people were claiming Candace said instead of talking to Candace. So breaking news, you know, they are supposedly going to meet today privately and talk to one another. But I'm not sure if matter of fact, let me check right now. I'm not sure if Candace announced it first or Erika announced it first. Oh no, it was Erika. Erika announced it. Erika, the one who's telling everybody to stay off of social media, put your phone down, all that good shit. Yeah. Erika took to Twitter and was like, yeah, Candace and I are going to have a discussion and have agreed to no more public conversations or streams or anything like that until after our conversation today. Okay, that's like why are you saying that? Also, just call her. Just be like, hey, maybe we'll have a private discussion. And then if y'all did agree to that, sorry, my fault, dropped out for a second. But I was saying, if y'all did agree to that, right? Like if y'all agreed to a private conversation, just agree to the terms, get off the phone, have the private conversation, and then resume as usual. Like just resume with life, go forward. But she's like, no, before Candace gets ahead of this, and to make sure that Candace honors this agreement, let me go to social media so I can tell, because it's a signal to all the conservatives who are watching and are taking Erika's side. That's what it is. It's Candace said she wouldn't talk about anything in public until after this conversation. Just to let y'all know. It's a way for her to control the narrative and to control how Candace reacts or doesn't react prior to, and control how Republicans react if Candace were to say something prior to this meeting, because Erika reacts based off of Candace's reactions, right? Erika's reacting to news, whereas Candace is reacting to information, or rather getting ahead of information, or rather reacting because of the lack of information. But Erika is reactionary, is a difference. So Erika is probably gonna sit down with Candace because she is now, I think maybe the nail in the coffin for her was like when she was like, I wasn't on a plane, I was pregnant, et cetera, but like you're now making claims that Candace never made. Candace never said Erika was on an Egyptian plane. She didn't even say that you were traveling to new and interesting places that were, no, she didn't say anything like that. What she said was, what was interesting is that these Egyptian planes were following you, and she didn't even say it was necessarily your fault. She didn't say it was your fault. Candace has been very, very judicious regarding this entire situation and your involvement potentially, or at least your complicity. And you're like trying to brush it off like it's some crazy. No, we saw the flight laws. We saw all that shit. Once again, it's Candace. So before she even got on the show, she provided the proof. Like before she even, she's not going to talk about it unless she already got the proof. That's a consistent thing that we've seen with her in this damn Charlie Kirk situation in its entirety. Like, if she's going to talk about it, there's going to be proof. That's how she gets down. Because I'm sure she understands what's at stake. So this private conversation, we're going to see. We're going to see. And I personally, I'd be a little bit worried. I hope Candace isn't flying anywhere. Like, I hope that shit is near Candace's crib. I hope she's going to have her security around. Drive your own car. Hell, maybe even pick up a rental. Hell, maybe even take an Uber. I don't know. But I don't trust it. Because her showing up there just puts her in any kind, like, it just puts her in danger. Because y'all know what kind of technology Israel got, bro. It could be tracker shit. It could be under the car type shit. Y'all feel me? Like, I don't trust it. Because why can't this be on a phone call? People are like, oh, it can be recorded. It can be recorded in person, like on either side. Like, why can't we have this conversation over the phone? And why are you waiting until now to have this conversation with me when you know, like, she knew how close Candace and Charlie were? And she's been avoiding talking to Candace, which is weird because you've been talking to all his other friends, the ones that can make you some damn money, but you're not talking to her? That would be bizarre in any other situation. But somehow it's Candace's fault that Erika being weird. So be careful, Candace. And with that being said, make sure you like this video, make sure you share this video, make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here. Thank you all for tuning into this live stream segment For the People podcast. You can support the show by becoming a premium member here on YouTube, sharing the video, becoming a Patreon member. Those links are in the description below. But of course, sharing always helps. And I appreciate you guys tuning in so early. Shout out to my morning crew. Got a live hotspot video, dropping later on today about the situation in Bondi, Australia. Yeah, it's wild, yo. So we're definitely gonna be talking about that. Make sure to check that out. And yeah, man, share this video. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, always remember more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.